Hola and welcome. And this is the short version of the installing Anaconda on Windows. This will work for both Windows 11 and Windows 10. Should not be any difference as far as I can imagine. And of course, the first thing you're going to need to do is to download Anaconda. And that would be to go to anaconda.com. And I will put a link in the description. So link in the description. Okay. You can either click this button here and that'll just download Anaconda. It gets the current version of this product. Or you can go to the additional installers and download it here if you just want to make sure that you're getting the current one. Yes, it is not the current version of Python. That is normal for Anaconda. It doesn't always stay with the most current version of Python. For what I'm doing and what we're doing in our tutorials and in class, it doesn't matter. So just click that and that'll get you the graphical installer. Let me move me down here just to kind of get it out, just get me out of the way there a little bit. So here is your installer that we downloaded, and you just double click this. That will run the installer. It will decompress it and get it ready to go. Click next. You should read your license agreement just to make sure, but click I agree or it won't install. Durr. Not shocking, huh? Just me, unless you have some specific need to change that, I would never change this. Always install Anaconda with just me. Click next. Anaconda, leave it at its current setting. You don't need to really change that unless you know you need to. So I just leave it alone. Click next. Don't change anything here. Never add Anaconda to the path unless you know you need to. I always clear the package cache. It won't hurt anything, and it just clears up some room on your machine. But never add it to the path unless you know what you're doing, because that can actually cause problems, especially with things like Linux or other stuff. So anyway, we're good. Click install. And it doesn't take too long to get installed. It's not a hugely gigantic installer. It does take a little bit of time as it gets its caches ready and things like that. So it's not very long. I will clip this and then we'll return after it's done. Okay, we're back and it is completed. So we click next and we click next. And in this case, I don't care about these two things here. Obviously, if you wish to go view the welcome to Anaconda, etc., cool beans. But for what we're doing here, it's irrelevant. One thing, I do not like ever installing something without having you test it first, just to make sure that everything went okay. So let's test it real fast. So in Windows, probably the easiest way to do that is to just hit the Windows key and then type in Anaconda, and you should get Anaconda prompt right there. And to make it a little bit easier for you, you might want to right click this and pin to taskbar. I would also, if this Anaconda navigator comes up, right click and pin that to taskbar also, if you have the space on your taskbar to do it. But the Anaconda prompt is what we need, so just run that. So go ahead and run the Anaconda prompt. And what that does is that opens up a prompt. Duh, right? Command prompt. But it loads it with all the information it needs to find Python, to find the Anaconda distribution, to basically know where all its stuff is. If you just open a command prompt, that will not always work. It can if you set it up that way, but Anaconda prompt is your safest bet for that. So here we are at the Anaconda prompt. We know we're at that because it will say that here, and it will say base right here. No, it telling you that you're in your base environment. Don't worry about what that is right this second, but this is like your stock or default settings for the Anaconda thing. So let's test it. Let's see, did Python get installed? What version is installed? We just type in Python-V. So Python-V. Press enter. Yay! And you should see, if it's pointing at Anaconda properly, and you installed the one I sent you to just now, 3.10.9. That's the version that is currently installed with this version of Anaconda. If your version's slightly different, either newer, maybe you downloaded this tutorial later, or earlier, maybe you have another version of Anaconda already installed or something. But that's the current installed version of Anaconda. Looks good. So it is installed. If you want to try one more thing, we can just type in Python, and that just type Python, nothing else. That will bring up the idle. That is basically the Python interactive environment, development environment. And we can just try something quick. We'll do print. And we'll do hello world because, that's like the standard. In the tutorial, we'll actually do this anyway, but maybe not with idle, maybe with Anaconda. But we might as well test it this way. So just hit the enter key, press the enter key after you've entered that, and you should see hello world print. So that pretty much proves that Python is installed and working. It shows that your version's proper, and it shows that it can actually execute a Python function. So we have validated that Anaconda appears to be installed properly. Yes. All right. Thank you very much. My Python tutorials begin soon. If you're watching this right on Memorial Day weekend for the USA. So basically we're at May 27th, as you can see down here is when I recorded this. I will make a link to my Patreon. If you do enjoy these videos, obviously, I really do appreciate any support you can give me. I only ask $1 a month if you can, but if you can do a little more, that's great. If you can't do anything, hey, you know what? That's cool. I've been there. I know exactly I get it. But if you can toss a few dollars here and there, I would love it. I'd love it. And I want to try and make this my primary source of income at some point. And having Patreons is very useful. So long story short, thank you very much. And I appreciate it. I hope you like this nice short version of the install video. I know I have another one, which I will put a card up to, and that's a longer version that goes into a lot more detail. But for the class and for my stuff like that, people had asked to have a nice short one. So here you go. And thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you later.